Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In the last video I mentioned that I wasn't sure what this video was going to be about because the carve I did of the neck shaft ended up having some problems and resulted in like a few imperfections, which were going to require a lot of handwork and did require some handwork. But I did most of that handwork and the imperfections weren't as bad as I originally thought, and that left me with time this weekend to carve the fretboard. Now you'll remember from the previous video, the fretboard is made of a section of the original neck blank that I used to carve the neck shaft. I cut off a slab and ran it through the planer, got it down to about 6 millimeters thickness, and then got it all set up and ready to go. Generated some 3D modeling files and then some G-code files to do the carve. And I have to say it came out really well. Unlike last week's carve, which had a few errors and bumps, this one went so smoothly. All the edges are super sharp. It just went really well, and I'm really satisfied with the result. Now, of course, the reason I'm doing this is I like the idea of having some visual continuity between the fretboard and the back of the neck, and that's why I sectioned off that piece and decided to use it as a fretboard. And I think it looks pretty cool, and it matches up really nicely, and the parts made up really nicely. You can see like here at the end of the heel, everything is nicely aligned. And I think that when I finally glue the fretboard onto the neck shaft, it's going to be pretty cool. Right now it's just held on with some double-sided tape just to keep it from moving around. But the other thing that came out really nicely were these position markers. These kind of offset position markers are made out of Purple Heart to match, you know, the two stringers in the neck. And they basically involved cutting out little oval-shaped pockets and then offsetting them a little bit from the profile of the neck, and then going and taking a piece of Purple Heart and making a bunch of these little inserts. And I have to say, they came out brilliantly. I mean, they're absolutely tight as can be in there. There's no evidence of a seam or any gapping. They just look really great and professional. So I'm super pleased with how they went. And as I said, you can see they're offset, except that, you know, and then there's two of them at the 12th and the 24th fret. And the other great thing about these is they double as side markers. As you can see, they're sunk about 3 millimeters into the fretboard, and so I can use them visually as I would use any side markers, and now I don't have to sort of contend with that issue of creating like little side marker dots or something like that. So again, carve went really well. I'm really pleased, and I think I've got a really nice neck and fretboard. And then once I go and kind of mate them up and glue them together and then smooth out the edges and take care of some of the rest of the finish work, this neck will be ready for the next step, which is going to be putting the frets in and then doing all the fret work and then finishing the neck. I still haven't decided what I'm going to use for finish. I'll probably go with tung oil on the top, on the surface of the fretboard, and then probably crystal lac on the back. We'll see. I definitely don't want to darken this neck up, so I want a very light finish like crystal lac as opposed to like an epoxy. But that decision is yet to be made. First things first. Anyhow, I, as usual, did a little video montage of the process of carving this fretboard. I'm going to show that to you now and then come back afterwards and make a few closing comments. So enjoy. So the first carving operation is to carve out the position markers out of a piece of Purple Heart. These are the things I'm going to be installing in the fretboard. Now I drilled them down using a 1/16 inch bit to about 4 millimeters depth, and then I took the workpiece over to my bandsaw and resawed it at about that same depth to liberate those little position marker pieces. Here we are now carving the pockets for those position markers. Again, I'm using a 1/16 inch bit. The reason for that is I want as much accuracy as I can possibly get because I found trying to use bigger bits, it just makes the piece less accurate. So I'm having to go slow here and use this 1/16 inch bit, even though this is showing it sped up. just to get like a really nice tight fit for the position markers that I've already milled in the last scene. So then the next step, of course, is going to be to install those position markers, and I do that simply by using some medium CA glue. I just put a few drops in the little pocket, and then of course I just plunk them in there. And again, the fit was really nice and came out much better than I had hoped. Sometimes I've installed markers and they're a little, they're too tight, like marker dots and such, and you have to like use like a rubber mallet to pound them in. In this case, they just popped in perfectly, but without having any gaps or any noticeable seams. And I was really pleased by that, because they definitely contributed to the end result. They're about maybe 3 millimeters thick, so they're sunk about 3 millimeters into the fretboard. So the next thing, of course, is the very tedious process, but necessary process, of carving accurate fret lines. The bit that I use for this is tiny. It's like a needle. I think it's maybe 0.6 inches. And here's the final product once it's run through its paces. I have a perfectly spaced set of lines into which to install the frets once I get to that stage. It's crucial, and it's the kind of accuracy you can only really get with the CNC machine or years and years of practice. So now I am carving a little recess at the heel of the neck. It's more decorative than anything else, but I kind of like it. It's got like a nice crescent shape, like you see on a lot of Ibanez bases. It's kind of where I took the inspiration for it. Here it is sped up, just kind of eating down through the layers to give me my final product. Now I'm on to the radius carve, basically. I'm using a finish pass to carve the radius in this neck, which is very slight. I like really flat, almost flat fingerboards. So the radius is on the order of 20 some odd inches. So now the final operation is to carve the outline of the fretboard. And I'm doing that using a 1/8 inch bit, running it around kind of the perimeter and hoping for a smooth result. And there you have it, my process for carving a fretboard. Unlike the other videos, this one went very well, and I find myself with not much to say at the end of this one, except to talk about next steps. Probably the next step is to glue the fretboard to the neck shaft and then do some cleanup work on the rest of the neck. As I mentioned in the last video, I still have some serious tool marks to contend with on the side of the headstock. I also have these little tab remnants to get rid of. Some of those on the fingerboard as well. As you can see here, there are 4 of them. That will be part of the process of kind of refining everything using hand tools once I've glued this, this fretboard to the neck shaft. But as I said, this went pretty well today, and it kind of rescued this neck from the state it was in last week when I was even wondering whether I was going to proceed with it. I'm definitely going to proceed with it now. I'm very happy with how it's looking. And then once I get this thing all glued up and do all the kind of refinements using hand tools, I'll be ready to install frets. Perhaps that will be the subject of my next video. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video showing some of the handwork as well. But either way, things are looking better than they did at the end of the last video, and I'm pretty pleased with how things went. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I look forward to making another one of these and sharing it with you. Take care, everyone.